We're just gonna start straight because whenever I try to like put everything in order and have my notes and say this and do that, I'll waste like 2 to 3 hours before I even hit record. So here we go. The power of vulnerability in relationships. Vulnerability is one of those things that opens up your life to everything that you ever wanted, but scares the crap out of the ego at the same time. Vulnerability is a beautiful thing that we get to really embrace and surrender to. The faster, the better. As far as like, and not to say like rushing you, okay? I'm not trying to rush you. I'm just saying, you know, the faster you learn that, the faster you start to implement that. Let me say this, the faster you start to practice that, the more you start to be aware of it and you start to practice it in all of your connections, the faster you'll be able to enjoy the good stuff. You'll be able to enjoy the good stuff in life, right? Real love can't find you if your heart is hiding, right? You're not going to be able to manifest anything, love, relationships, money, anything like that, if you're protecting yourself from being hurt. Remember, the heart chakra is dealing with love, compassion, forgiveness, also your money, okay? Your cash, your coins. In Ghana, your sika, all right? Your loot, okay? L'argent, chérie, in Haiti. Moment of silence for everybody, real quick, going through that hurricane. What's her name? Simone? I forgot her name. Monica? Girl. To all my peoples in the islands, okay? So let's get back to the video. So you can't manifest love if you're protecting yourself from being hurt, okay? They don't
It's 16
live
hours.
in the same energy. They don't live in the same energy. It's kind of like saying you're serving two masters. You can't serve two masters, right? You're either in fear or you're in love. You can't really be in one expecting the other. Preferably, like, you can't be in fear expecting love, right? That's what I'm trying to say. Okay, so some things that I want to just jot down and talk to you, that I've jotted down and just want to talk to you about in the video. What is vulnerability? Okay, vulnerability means allowing yourself to be seen, heard, and felt without a guarantee of being accepted. I believe I looked up the term a little bit more just to try to like really understand what the word is, because I feel like etymology of words and different meanings of words, different uses, old uses of words or old meaning of words, they hit harder. They're a lot more clearer. They really, like, words are really important to the way that we use them and what it is that we're saying. If they are spells, we want to know what we're actually saying, okay? Not just using words because it sounds fancy schmancy. What's the meaning of that word, right? So the term vulnerability comes from the late Latin word vulnerabilis, okay, which means capable of being wounded, derived from vulner, right? Another word meaning to wound, like to hurt. Okay, it has been used since the 17th century to describe the state of being easily hurt or damaged, both physically and emotionally. Okay, there's even the Hebrew word for vulnerable, piga. I don't know if I'm saying that right, and that means to contact, or to contact usually in a harmful way. So automatically, you're hearing hurt, you're hearing wound, you're hearing I need to protect myself. That's what you're hearing when you hear the term vulnerability. So, no wonder a lot of people are afraid of being vulnerable. Maybe even yourself, if you find yourself vulnerable, to be honest, to express yourself, to say your truth, to say exactly what it is that you want to say, what it is that you really mean, how you feel deeply about a certain topic or a certain feeling, because you're afraid of getting hurt. You're afraid of getting wounded. Sometimes vulnerability, being real vulnerable, can actually hurt somebody, right? If you're truthful in saying something that means a lot to you and you're being vulnerable and honest, it could hurt somebody as well. So vulnerability is so sensitive, but it could really do a great job at, like, putting your, where's ego? I normally have ego around. Hold on, putting ego aside and sitting ego down. Man, I don't think I'm gonna be able to find ego. I drew ego, so I could be able to be like, here's ego. Okay, I might have to draw another ego. I want to draw another ego for you guys. But we'll do that in another video. Spare you some time, okay? um yeah, so whenever you think about that, it does sound scary, right? Ultimately, when it comes to risk, right, vulnerability actually helps to invite us into light, because it's helping us go into the dark, right, and bringing out what's in the dark. It's helping us to show ourselves truthfully, our flaws and all. It's helping us to be able to be like, hey, I got a scar, I got a boo-boo, I got this about myself, I'm not perfect. I crash on my words sometimes, I procrastinate sometimes, I do this sometimes. Like you're allowing someone else to see all the vulnerable aspects, all the sensitive, all the bumps, all the unsmooth, unlayered, raw, unfiltered you. And if someone can genuinely be like, "Oh, I love you as you are. You're beautiful. All the specks, all the stretch marks, all, the things that make you insecure," then my friend, you found a good thing. You definitely found a good thing. Let it be genuine though, right? Let's hope it's genuine. If it's not genuine, then you got a problem, but still, you found a good thing. So vulnerability is definitely about being seen, being heard, even though it's a guarantee that you won't be accepted, right? Because that's where the wound is. That's where the hurt, the possibility of hurt is. This is related to kind of like the heart chakra, the solar plexus, and the throat chakra. So if it's when you're saying this is me, fears, flaws, and all, and I trust that love won't abandon me for it, that is you being vulnerable. That's the most open that you can be. And I just want to say, if you could actually be that and stand present in that, it's challenging. It takes practice. That's why I said practice, the art of practice. I should name this. I'm going to change the video title probably to the practice of vulnerability, the art of vulnerability, because that's what it is. It's an art. It's a practice. You don't just come here being vulnerable. Well, actually you do. Children are pretty damn vulnerable. Yes, you are. It's the world, it's people, it's experiences, it's pain, generational, childhood, all of that teaches us to close off little by little, bit by bit, right? Doing the whole robot inside your body, where now you're like a completely different person on the outside versus on the person that you really are on the inside, right? It's I don't know why I'm saying that, but it's so silly. But it's kind of like, when Batman put on his mask, and it's like, really, like, we clearly know it's still Batman. Like, it's Superman. That's a better example. He just puts on his glasses, and it's like, really, no one sees that this is Superman. Like, okay, it's kind of like that, right? But when he takes it off, that's him being vulnerable, showing who he is. But it's the same thing. Like when you're out in the world and you think you have this whole suit, mask, all of this on, you just have glasses on, because a lot of people can still see right through you, right? They can see that you're hurting. They can see that you're insecure. They can still see that you're in pain. And that is probably what they're not accepting of you, because you're not accepting that of yourself. Do I need to repeat that? Please rewind, because I probably don't even know exactly. I'm probably not going to say the exact same way. But when people see you, they see everything about you. You're not hiding anything. You're not hiding anything. So if they don't accept that part of you, that's because you're not accepting that part of yourself. Okay. So when we're dealing with being vulnerable, this is dealing with the heart chakra, right? This is dealing with the throat chakra, being able to tell your truth. This is dealing with the solar plexus, being able to be courageous and bold enough to do that. So you see how you're climbing up the chakra ladder, the energy centers, so that when you reach to that Sahasrara, like that thousand lotus of opening up to the eighth chakra and beyond, 10th, 12th, 15th, to really have your soul sit in your body and guide you as your higher self. Now you see why we're doing this work, this emotional healing work, so that we can embody ourselves, we could enjoy life, we could live life, we could create a new beautiful life on earth. Not to say that we're trying to save the world, we're trying to save ourselves. SOS. Okay, save ourselves, and that will inspire, that will energetically trigger everything else that needs to happen. I also surrendered what that's going to be like. I really just want to be present to experience it. Okay. So number 3, why people avoid vulnerability, right? When you avoid vulnerability, let's see, I put some things down. They've been shamed for expressing feelings as a child, right? Maybe as a child, they would tell you that, we hear this a lot for little boys, right? Don't cry, little boys don't cry. You're supposed to be strong. Or little girls are supposed to do this, little girls are supposed to do that. You're supposed to wear this. You're supposed to walk like this, talk like that. You should know how to cook. You should know how to clean. You should know how to do all those things. Should is a bit strong. Yes, it's good to know how to do those things for self-sustainability, self-sufficiency, to be able to take care of your home one day, right? Be able to take care of yourself. But when it comes to dictating a certain behavior, you kind of like are reprogramming certain aspects of the individual as a being here to express and experience itself as a soul, right? They equate emotions with weakness. You hear that a lot. Like I just said with the little boys, don't cry and all of that. When boys, they should cry. They should embrace crying. But I love to see how there's a lot more people talking about that now. And there's a lot more guys that are crying, a lot more guys that are open to crying. I think that is so sexy. For me, come cry in my arms, baby. Come cry in my arms. I love you. I got you. Okay. No, I think it's so sexy because when a man can be vulnerable, he's able to say, I feel safe with you. You know, and the fact that a man sometimes is not even vulnerable to cry alone, he's not even safe within himself. That's what that says. He's not safe within himself. Same with a woman. Maybe you cry, but sometimes you just hold it too hard. You're like, you know what? I'm not gonna cry. I'm a man up. The woman now is saying, I'm a man up. I'm gonna do what I have to do, which is good. But now your over masculine energy is taking over. There's no balance. The feminine you're suppressing all the way down. And you need your feminine energy to be vulnerable. This is you being open, being safe, to feel protected, being safe to allow someone to protect you, to allow someone to hold you down, to hug you, to be like, I'm here for you. I got a hearing ear. Like, I see you. I feel you. I honor you. I'm a whole space for you. You know, they've loved someone who made them feel unsafe for opening up. I don't know how many times that happened to me, okay? Too many to count, too many to put on one hand, that's for sure, or two hands. Like being safe, like telling someone out of something secrecy just to find out they had you on three-way, just to find out they talked about you to somebody else and said something that you said. They go and repeat it, and then they change it, they switch it up, right? It's all of this that's going on. So then somebody else brings it to you. You feel, what do you feel? You feel vulnerable. You feel open, exposed. And this is where trust gets affected, right? Because you were open enough, you were vulnerable enough with someone that you trust, and they used that against you, right? And now made you vulnerable to the world. That's why I love 8 Mile. That guy thought he was about to smoke Eminem, okay? He thought he had everything about him. His girl was messing with this dude. He lives in a trailer park. Oh, he thought he had it. Best move he could have done. Best move Eminem could have done was like, you know what? Now go ahead and tell somebody something that these people don't already know about me, because I just laid it all out. I just laid it all out. If you wanted to use that to expose me, to embarrass me, let me help you out. I could do that for myself. I don't need you. So that's the power of vulnerability. That's one of the powers of vulnerability. That's one of the powers of vulnerability. Being able to expose yourself and not worry about what other people got to say, not worry about what other people are thinking. They could only respect you because what are they going to say? You've already said it all. Ou déjà dit tout bagay, oui, chérie. You've already said it all. You said everything already, right? You probably loved someone and you were honest with them. You told them something in secrecy. You were vulnerable with them. They used it against you. You're vulnerable with someone. Oh, and this is why now some of the relationship advice is like, don't tell your new person about this or that, because there's a possibility that they could use it against you. Maybe they can't handle it or whatever, right? I like to think because it's insignificant, it's in the past. It helped me. It helped me, right? It evolved me. But there's so many things with vulnerability that we can use that really supports us to receive everything that we want. But when he did that, I was like, I'm sure that's everybody's favorite move. One, at least. If we got a top 100, 8 Mile is in there. For sure. For sure. For me, it is. Let me not talk for everybody. For me, 8 Mile is in there, okay? Everybody from the 313. All right, chill. All right, so they fear rejection, control, or betrayal. Exactly what I just said. Because you've experienced that, right? I told something private. I was vulnerable to a friend, and then they went behind my back and they spread rumors. They went behind my back and they told everything that I told them in secrecy, in privacy, and in trust in our relationship. I was vulnerable with them, and they used that against me to tear me down. They used that against me to go talk about me in their group chat. They used that against me, and they had the conversation that we were having they had the other person on the line, like trying to set it up to make it seem like, I was talking about them in a negative way, or they was trying to figure out if, it's just a lot of things that really can affect you if somebody betrays your trust. If someone was just trying to use it for control, like, oh, this person told me that. Like, we see this a lot in relationships, right? You were vulnerable with your partner and now they use it against you. They try to control you. Oh yeah, that's why this didn't happen. This didn't happen for you in the past because of, now it's like they're using that against you. You never want to tell somebody anything after that. You're like, oh, that hurt. That was so, and there goes the wounding. There goes the hurt. There goes the betrayal, right? There goes the feeling of rejection of my truth, rejection of what I've experienced. And then not only that, sometimes these things happen like 10, 20, 30 years ago, and people are still talking about it. And it's like, man, what are you talking about? I'm not even the same person I was last week, let alone last year, let alone 10, 15, 20 years ago, right? So even that with the rejection, it's like you rejected me then and you're trying to reject me now and I've evolved. Then that's how you know those people are not for you. This is a great way to know when people are not for you. When you're vulnerable, you're honest, you're upfront. Just know that that is a powerful move. Can nobody use anything against you? And the minute that they do, now you can see that's clear feedback. You see clearly if this person is for you or is not for you. No, now you could leave. You could disappear. You don't have to have this person in your life. And you could express that and let them know how you feel as well, because you are vulnerable with them. And the way that what they do with that information will let you know, because the feedback is how they're going to treat you after that. And you want people that's going to console you, that's going to respect you, right? Respect your trust, respect your vulnerability, honor it, cherish it, hold on to it, love it up, okay? Because they're embracing your flaws and all right? I'm a train wreck in the morning, okay? They believe self-protection equals self-respect, and we see that a lot. The more that you protect yourself, the more that it looks like you're respecting yourself, right? And to a certain extent, the way that I'm saying it, yes, it's true, because you want to set boundaries, all of those things, right? But you don't want to overguard yourself. You don't want to overprotect yourself, because then you're keeping all the good things out. You're keeping all the good things out, right? Not realizing that you're true. Like whenever you think of something hard that's soft in the middle, that's the true essence of being vulnerable. And actually, that's the actual real power. That's the actual energetical source that you need to tap into. The fruit, the softness, what's inside, not the shell, not the hard thing outside. If that's all you see, you never get to see the inside to really appreciate this whole thing as what it is, as a whole. If you see a rock, and let's use a pineapple. Pineapple is a little bit hard on the outside, spiky even, but it's delicious on the inside, right? Even a nut, anything. Okay, somebody's happy. I'm hearing my neighbors making a lot of noise right now. If you think about that, the softness is really what you get to cherish. The softness is what you really connect with. It's not the hard shell. It's not somebody closing off. They don't want to be vulnerable, right? It's really more when they are like soft and they are more open. That's what that is. That's what's more enjoyable, really, okay? You want to avoid vulnerability because it keeps you in control, but it also keeps you alone. It keeps you alone. You're so vulnerable, you're closed off. You're not even open to experiencing something new. Number 4, what avoidance can look like? Well, overthinking instead of feeling. I put down overthinking, constantly overthinking something. Oh, what if I do this? And you're going to an event. What if this perfect example? Perfect example. So I went to someone's event, right? And this person, maybe months before that, I remember when I met up with this person with other people, this person was like, oh, I don't know. Like they pretty much told me, I don't understand why you're here. Like it's almost like it wasn't nothing personal. It wasn't anything for me to be like, oh, what are you talking about? It was just more like they didn't get my energy. They didn't get what I had to offer. They didn't get what am I doing in this facility, right? And then later on, somebody was like, "Oh, they're having an event. You should come through." And I was like, "I'm not gonna go to that. I'm not going to that event. Why would I go to that event? This person thinks this and this and this and this and that." And I was like, "You know what? I'm not gonna take it personal. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna enjoy myself. I'm gonna be loving. I'm gonna find. I'm gonna hear the Purple Rain song. I'm gonna hear a whole bunch of other stuff, right?" And that happened to me the other day too at an event. I said I wanted to hear a song, the Purple Rain song, and then I literally heard it. Who would have thought that that would happen? Anyway, I didn't, but it was beautiful to experience. But anyway, I digress. When I went to the event, it was all good. It was all love. In fact, it was like, "Oh my gosh, thank you for showing up." It was like what I didn't expect. And that's because I was open enough. I didn't close off. I didn't take it personally, right? I was vulnerable enough to let my guard down. And when I did, I was met with nothing but love. Nothing but love, okay? So don't overthink, because you could really overthink yourself out of meeting someone new, receiving some type of love, some type of support. And even if it's not from people, it could be divine support, cosmic support, okay? Another thing, joking when things get serious or always cracking jokes. I see that a lot in a lot of people. I remember when I first started doing tarot readings, and I went to a friend's party, like Christmas party or something like that. There was like about 15 of us, and I was doing readings for everybody. So one girl came, she was a little bit bigger set, and she kept on cracking jokes and laughing when we were doing the reading. And I was like, "Oh, that's. And I told her with love, I forgot how I said it, but I was like, "That's a coping mechanism for something that you're insecure about." And she was like, "Yeah." She was honest, and she was like, "Yeah." She was vulnerable. She was safe to be vulnerable with me. She was safe because I'm not gonna judge you. I'm not perfect. What are you talking about? Let's do this healing work. Let's evolve. Let's shine, girl. Like, what are we doing right now? Okay. And she really appreciated that reading. She got so much clarity, and I feel like it really shifted her life. I don't know where she is today, but I'm grateful for that moment. Even if it was just one time that I met her, I was able to assist her, give her some type of cosmic guidance, some tarot activations, and just really be there and not be a source of judgment towards her, but be more someone that could hold her in her vulnerability, letting her know that it's okay to do that. But a lot of people, they joke when things are serious. When things are getting serious, they kind of like crack a joke, or it's a coping mechanism for them not being able to be vulnerable. All right. They're avoiding it like the plague, girl. Okay. Always wanting to fix the problem instead of sitting with the emotion. Guilty. I used to do that a lot. Put your hands up if you're guilty. Always trying to fix the problem instead of sitting with the emotion. Right? It doesn't matter what it was. If it was a problem with a relationship, if it was a problem with school, if it was a problem with this, if it was a problem with that, always trying to fix it. Oh, I could fix it. I could do this instead. This could be better. And really, you just need to be able to sit still, listen, pay attention, see what that is, tie it to where it came from. Because when there's such power once you can bring something to the forefront and name it and release it. It's the same thing like the Eminem, like what Eminem did in 8 Mile, being able to voice everything about him, right? Everything that could be embarrassing, that could be used against him to harden him, but not harden him in a way where he's blocking off, but it was like it was kind of like putting like a clear glass. Now you can't hurt me, but I'm a wide open book, right? I'm a wide open book. You still see the jelly, but you can't hurt me because I died. So I still get the good stuff, but at the same time, you can't really do anything to me. Or you're like water. It goes all around everywhere. Like you can't stop water. It's vulnerable. And you already know, in order for you to surrender and receive the flow with water, you have to just be with water. You really have to just surrender to it. You have to be vulnerable enough to be like, I need to release control. You know what I learned real quick? I didn't know this. Oh God, trying to practice swimming, okay? And this is so simple. Then I started watching a whole bunch of videos. This isn't new, but I'm just saying this came up in my head. I don't know why, but it's like, I think it's the reference with the swimming in the water, to surrender and to just flow, release control. Me trying to swim, and I was trying to swim and my legs was down. That's not gonna work. I didn't know that. There was like, you need to get your legs in alignment with the water, parallel to the water, so that you can swim. This is a whole different dimension, number one. Number two, if you're like this, you're gonna sink down. But if you're parallel with the water, then you could actually swim, use your hands and your feet to keep your head up above the water. But there's such trust and vulnerability and surrender that you get to do. You know, that was a really dope experience and a dope analogy for you. If I hope you get that. Anyway, so stop trying to fix any type of problem and sit with your emotion, because that's a clear sign that you don't want to be vulnerable, right? There's you're arguing with your person, or there's something that you're not saying. You're being avoidant, or they're being avoidant, or they're angry, they're loud. You know, the loudest person in the room is the weakest person in the room, all because they fear being vulnerable, they fear being judged, they fear being rejected, you know, for their flaws, right? Another way avoidance can look like ghosting or shutting down when intimacy gets close. And I just say that ghosting, shutting down. And I know you're like, well, you got the list right in front of you, but really, I'm really looking at one line at a time so I could start expressing a lot more. I could talk and then I'll go to the next line. So sometimes I'm telling you, like, I'm like this, I don't even see the other line unless if I'm looking for something. But ghosting or shutting down when intimacy gets close. And plus, when I'm doing a video, I can't be my eyes can't be all over the place trying to look for something. That's why I do pointers and then I talk about it. But for me to just sit here and just do like a whole paragraph or essay just speaking, I mean, that's still being a teacher, but at the same time, it's not that kind of party. That's just not what we doing here. I'm talking to you, okay? We talking. I'm giving some pointers, but I'm talking to you at the same time, right? Ghosting or shutting down when intimacy gets close. We see that a lot. I've experienced that a lot, where somebody ghosts, clearly, right? And now I know it's because they fear vulnerability. It was never about me. It was never something like, oh, something's wrong with you. No, if they can't see themselves, how could they possibly see me? And same for me. If I'm not taking the time to see myself, how could I possibly see them? The thing is, I was able to see people very well. I was able to see, like, I just awakened the tarot gift within me within the past maybe 6-7 years. And as you guys are evolving, you're going to see that you become more claircognizant, more telepathic, more psychic. You have more abilities. And some people might not believe in that, but it is what it is. You're in the water of life. This is believe what you want to believe or not, you're here, okay? You're in the game, okay? It is what it is. It really is what it is. We have so many gifts available to us. Different bloodlines have different gifts, different powers, and more you'll see that the more vulnerable and accepting you are of that. And that's what vulnerability is. It's acceptance of who you are, what you are as a whole, right? Like a gorilla, a shark. I don't think any of them is like, oh, you know, I'm vulnerable. I don't love myself. Maybe there's cartoons that talk about that shows that, right? But we don't know. Like maybe they are emotions and they are water creatures. So maybe they feel the emotions even more. But I feel like they are more acceptable. They're more, they surrender a lot more easier because they are creatures of the water. I don't know where I'm going with this. Sorry, but water is emotion. So kind of gotta go there, right? But whenever anybody goes, right, or they shut down, they fear vulnerability, they fear rejection, they fear loss of control, right? When it's fine, everybody has their own process. You get to give them grace, and you give yourself grace, because sometimes you just need some time, some space to really get to know someone, to see if they are someone that you could trust to be vulnerable with, right? It's kind of challenging to just be vulnerable with just anybody that you just meet randomly. You can, because sometimes it's easier to be real with strangers, right? You see that all the time, than it is to be with like a family member, a close friend, or a partner, or something like that. And that's because they're stuck in a vision of you, of what you are and what you look like to them, what you do, how you do it. They have this like fixated image of you. When someone that just met you, it's like no holds bar. You could be whoever you gonna be today. This is my first time meeting you, right? So you could be like, oh, I could be myself. So, da, 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 da. You know, meanwhile, if your family or your friend or your man was looking at you, it's like, you've never been this open. I've never seen you this, you know. So make sure that you have integrity. Make sure that you're always being 100% yourself, right? If you could be vulnerable and open with a stranger, maybe this is your cue to start being vulnerable with the ones that you love, right? And do it with discernment, of course, because You should always be with people that celebrate you and celebrates who you really are. That's number one. So automatically, if that's not your home, that's not your friend group, that's not your peoples, that's not your co-working environment, then that's not what you want to do. In fact, what you do want to do is get up out of that chair. Okay, get up out of that facility, get up out of that in your own time. Okay, I'm not telling you to let go of relationships and connections here, but be mindful, because those that you are around are those that you are becoming. Okay. Hiding behind spirituality or work as growth when it's really escape. Oh, I had to put that one in there. Okay. Hiding behind spirituality or work as growth when it's really escape, right? There's a lot of people that do that. There's people that I've reached out to get. When I first started on my journey, like I would reach out for assistance, I would reach out for a reading, I would reach out to just work or collaborate or something like that. And when I really get to know the person, it's like, oh man, you're not even who you portraying to be. You're not even, you have no integrity, you have no grace. Like, you're not even everything that you cracked up to be. It looks good on the outside. It's kind of like the Challenger. And I'm gonna talk about the Challenger in another upcoming video. I loved the Challenger. It reminded me of Eleanor. Remember Eleanor from Gone in 60 Seconds? It was also giving, I forgot the name of the car. No, I don't think he ever gave it a name of the car, but John Wick's car. I was like, oh, these guys, they are so sexy. But then somebody I was talking to at the time, got the car and then was like, you want to go take it for a drive? And then when I saw the inside, I was like, this is so basic. This is so like, it. I understand that you can appreciate it for what it is. Old school vibe, I get it. You know, I had it right now, I'll be very happy. I'm fine. Maybe not here because Ghana, the roads crazy. I need to be cruising on a smooth road, okay? But I was just like, oh, it's not what I thought it was on the inside. I thought it was gonna be like the Tesla. I don't know why. I thought it was gonna be like Tesla on the inside, okay? That's what it was giving me. But you see how your mind could also create this whole thing. I got inside that car and I was like, bruh, what are we doing, right? But it's all good. And that also lets you know a lot too. Like something can look good on the outside, but doesn't mean that you know what the inside really looks like, right? And that's why we're talking about that, because a lot of people fear vulnerability. They don't know how other people's going to take the inside. Somebody else might be like, oh, you have nothing to offer on the inside. That's fine. Maybe that person is not for you, right? It is what it is, right? But there are people that hide behind spirituality, like they're not doing anything of substance. Their character, they're not vulnerable, they're not honest. Like there's a lot of things that are going on where people hide behind that, and I see a rise of it. And it's a rise in every aspect. It is in business and fitness and health and nutrition and electronics and whatever. You see the good and the bad everywhere, okay? But just pay attention. Those are just some signs of what avoidance can look like, okay? All right. Did I say anything else? Let's see how to practice this. All right, let's do some practice work. So 5 ways that can help you with practicing the art of vulnerability, right? This is the art of vulnerability, practicing the art of vulnerability. Number 1, micro truth moments. So you want to start saying how you feel in real time. Don't hold grudges. I'm gonna check that for later. I'm gonna bring that back up. And when you're arguing with someone 10 years later, you remember that time when you did this? And it's like, what? Don't hold on to anything. How you feel, express it right now in real time, right? You calling and the person is not picking up. The minute you speak to the person, don't hound them. Don't try to reach them. If they're not picking up, they're not available. Wait for them to reach back out to you, okay? Meanwhile, you do your breath work. You calm down, okay? You work on yourself. You surrender, you release, you create that vulnerability space and grace for yourself. But when they call back, then you mention it. Hey, I didn't like the way this made me feel, blah, 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 blah. Express yourself in real time, right? That comment hurt my feelings. I actually feel really nervous right now. Small truths build inner trust. Little by little, the more that you start to speak more truths, the more that you start to be more vulnerable, little by little, I realize the more that you start to trust yourself a lot more, because you're you're not afraid to show what's inside to the outside, right? When you could walk in that life, in that light in your life, it's so freeing. It's so freeing. You have no fear of judgment, no fear of anybody trying to like control you or anything like that, because you're fully illuminating everything about yourself. You're not hurting anyone, you're not trying to disrespect anyone, you're honoring yourself. Okay, small truths build inner trust. So micro truths, start small, little by little, every day, wherever that you can. Number two, heart breath practices, chakra healing. So chakra healing breaths, right? You could put your hand on your heart, of course, do the green light therapy, envision green light around your heart. You could envision it all around your body. Okay, you could affirm like, I'm safe to love, right? I'm safe to love and to be loved. I receive love with ease. I'm able to be vulnerable and I trust myself. The more vulnerable that I am, the more that I can trust myself. The reason that you're saying this, because remember, you are a vibrational being. You are a frequency. Your voice is literally activating the cells in your energy. Your auric field, everything is working and is shifting and changing and listening to your command. So that's why it's so important. And again, I talk about affirmations and affirmations all the time as activations. You're using them to activate you. Even 5 minutes a day supports you, because I know some people might be like, oh, it doesn't work. The reason why it doesn't work is because you're wanting immediate results, which is fine, right? It takes some time, because if you've been the thing is, you've already been doing affirmations. You just haven't been conscious of it because you've been negatively speaking to yourself all this time. You've been saying this to yourself all this time. How many of you speak negatively? Was anyway. On this channel, we're moving away from that, right? But you were speaking negatively to yourself, even subconscious things that you said in the past to yourself, right? Maybe even you didn't even say it verbally. It was just a thought. Oh, I'm not enough. Oh, no. I'm afraid of this. Oh, am I worthy of this? These are negative affirmations. So you have to retrain the brain now with the power of your voice to rewire, deprogram those limiting beliefs with affirmations. You've been doing them anyway, but now you're just using the positive affirmations to do so. Okay. Number three, mirror work is always powerful, because you're literally looking at yourself. You're literally changing your self-image when you're looking at yourself, when you're doing mirror work. Okay, you could really speak to yourself and be vulnerable. It's okay to not have it together. It's okay if your money is low right now. It's okay if you want to do this but you can't right now. You can do this right now. You can give this. You can ask yourself, what can I give myself right now? All right. Be vulnerable, be compassionate. Speak to yourself like how you would speak to your inner child, to like a little child. That little child is you. Okay, look at your old young pictures of you as a little child and speak to your child, your younger self. Okay, mirror affirmations are always great. Number four, safe connection practice. Choose one person you feel somewhat safe with. Share something honest. Okay, not to get a reaction, but you just want to feel seen. You want to feel heard. Okay, you want to feel honored. You're not doing this to get a response, to get a reaction. Say something vulnerable and then just see what happens. I remember I did this with one of my friends, and she was just so accepting. She was so accepting, because she even said she experienced the same thing, and she was like, girl, you're not the only one, blah, blah. And I was like, what? I just felt seen. I felt like I wasn't alone. And that was like a big, I don't know, it was so heavy on me before, but now that I said it, it just released so much in that small time, that small courageous act of me being vulnerable and being honest. Pay attention to your body. See if your shoulder relaxes. See if you smile more. You might even smile harder that day. I remember I did that with another friend, and we had the best night that day. We went out, we ate, we had some great, conversations. We were drinking wine. I slept over. Like, it was a dope moment of being able to actually be seen, being honored, being heard. It feels beautiful. It really does. Okay. If you feel uncomfortable, breathe through the uncomfort, and if you trust that person enough, you could even tell them, oh, that makes me feel really uncomfortable to even say that. Be vulnerable, right? Be vulnerable. Number 5, creative expression is always good. Journal, dance, sing, paint. Sacral chakra work is always going to help you move the energy because that's the water element. After you finish doing this, journaling, dancing, singing, drink some water. You want to express yourself through your body, express yourself through what you're drawing, express yourself through what you're singing, right? The other day, yesterday, a friend of mine, well, one of the ladies here, she had a birthday, and I knew probably like 5 people there, and it was like about 50, 60, 70 people there. And I put on a whole Prince concert because like I told you, the Purple Rain song came on. Okay, I was so excited. I was so happy, like so excited. Not only did I manifest this, is I don't know, man. Purple Rain does something to me. Okay, I'm sure I'm not the only one. Okay, vulnerability isn't only words. It's allowing your emotions to move through the water, move like water, my friends. Okay. I really hope that this helps you see how vulnerability is not such a bad thing. It's not such a challenging thing. It's not such a scary thing. You could be a little bit more vulnerable. Do it with people that you trust first. Do it with people that honor you first. Do it with people that, you could express yourself, flaws and all. That's not going to judge you, that you trust will not take this somewhere else behind your back. And sometimes you just never know who that is, but ultimately, do it for you. Do it for you. Do it to see how you feel in your body. Yeah. To love is to be vulnerable. To give your heart is to expose it to pain. But if you want to keep it intact, you must give it to no one. And in that protection, it will wither and die. Alan Watts. I thought that was dope. A little cold, a little gloomy, but I want to end it there. So like the video, subscribe. Let me know how this video touched you, how you enjoyed it. What are some gems that you're taking with you? Okay, because I want everybody to take something out of this video, out of all the videos that I do. Because I'm grateful to just be able to come on here and to share. I got internet, I got a phone, I got a voice, I got some experiences I could share and relate with you guys, because it's also helping me heal. Doing this video about vulnerability also helps me be a lot more vulnerable with you guys, with myself, and just to see how I feel about that genuinely. Even after this, I'm gonna go sit down and just like eat and just sit in this energy. It feels good. All right. See y'all in the next one.